G'day, Exiles. Ziggy D here, joined by my co-caster Rise QT. Welcome back for some more PoE Sports. Today we have in store for you the second of 4 ExileCon race qualifier events. We have an any percent Act 5 Kitava kill with 1 minute death penalties. And to the victor go the spoils. The prizes on the line for today are indeed paid flights and accommodation to New Zealand, Auckland, and an Ultra VIP ticket to ExileCon in the last week of July, where GGG will be showcasing Path of Exile 2, Path of Exile Mobile, and the new PoE 1 expansion. But most importantly, a slot in the grand finale race to cap off ExileCon, just like we had last time. So very much looking forward to that. Now, there will be another 2 qualifiers this coming week and the week after. So make sure to check those out at the exact same time as now, next week and the week following. So last week we had our very first winner securing their slot, and that was I'm Exile with a time of 1:10 and 35 seconds, managing to come back from a big upset, having to rerun the entire Scepter of God, but managing to secure that win nonetheless. Only just. So any memories or recollections from last week, Rise?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how the hell did Exile go so fast when he really kicked into gear. I even there's a separate commentary going on by Ventura, and Ventura even said Exile's out of the race. There's no way he's coming back, and he came back and he destroyed it. And I gotta say, I was really impressed, and it was very important for him too to win the very first qualifier, as he most likely actually will not be attending to today's qualifier at all.
Yeah, because, that's it. Is participating in some other racing events. So I got a busy racing schedule there. Multi-talented, really. But it was an impressive comeback. And, you know, a lot of people would have quit in that situation. But they had a friend kind of rubbing their shoulders there and going, you still got this. You've still got a shot. Give it a go. So they buckled down and had the most determined comeback I've ever seen. So that was an epic win in the end. But we did have Tai Killer coming in second with just a 25-second deficit there. So only just slightly behind. And last week was really raw. You know, it was all new strategies, untested. People diverged a lot in various different things that they did. So who's to say how much more refined it's going to be now after an entire week of extra practice?
Yeah, it should be a lot more interesting. It definitely, the early game has shifted a lot. It's not quite the sort of shift that we were hoping for necessarily. It's still a lot of caster work with that rolling magma, and then later on into cremation. But I think some of the discussion I've heard behind the scenes, and people have kind of come to the conclusion that it wasn't risky enough. People didn't take enough risks last time. They leveled too much, you know. People were making excuses in Act 5, like, oh, we took so long because we needed mana flasks. Like, no, you did not. You got to go faster. So I think today people are really going to go ham now that everybody knows the strategies, and now that they're all really in tune with themselves after that first test run initially. Yeah, we might be seeing some really good plays today.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Ultimately, with a new strategy and new race style, people are going to be, you know, not as refined. They're not going to be as limit tested. So they're going to be maybe over leveling, playing a little bit more conservatively, trying to not get knocked out. But that said, it was still, you know, there was still a few deaths and still a few logouts and zone reruns. And we did have the mystery player who seemed to be making a very solid shot at first place, Grast, who was like just zooming, and then had an upset in Innocence where they had to log out, and they hadn't gotten a single waypoint in the entire act. So that was a race ender for them. So will we be seeing them again today? And will they make up for that little display last time? We shall find out.
Yeah, I think it's a real possibility that we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of them, whoever they are. But other than that, I don't know, chat. Who do you guys want to see? We've been thinking about who we're going to kick this event off. Any particular favorites for you guys? Anybody that you might want to root for? Who do you like to see first on the screen? Let's see, some Garas immediately, some Karns. Very cool.
Yeah, I've been seeing Khan practice a lot over the last week. Most of the races have been practicing still in secret, so there might still be some secret strategies yet to be seen because a lot of people like Taitakil, for example, have not streamed at all since the races were announced and have just been practicing in private. But I did see Khan streaming his race practice and was going pretty hard there, so hopefully Khan has a smooth race today. Definitely will have a shot based on what I've seen in their practice. But definitely Taitai Killer's got a strong shot after last week's display, and I know how hungry they are for this win. Keldorn, Havoc, I expect to see those people up there as well. And Garast, I think it would be very interesting to see what they'll be doing this week. But you said that the strategy hasn't changed enough for your liking. I'm surprised, Raz. To me, like, this is a huge change from, like, yes, there's still spells, but that's like half of Path of Exile, right? Like last time we were commentating ExileCon, it was Storm Blast Mines and Lightning Spire Traps and things like that. Now we have, starting off with Magma Orb, we have Holy Flame Totem, we have the little flame walls, and then we have, even I'm seeing Armageddon Brand combined with Cremation. We're seeing a lot of like interesting new tech here as well. I saw some interesting new skips being experimented with Frostblink. Frostblink Leap Slam tech with the dual wielding node I showed off last week, where you can, we're seeing Templars dual wielding with an axe and a sword and getting 60% increased damage from the dual wielding mastery, so they can Leap Slam and Frostblink and cast spells at the same time. That's cool. That's uniquely Path of Exile in my mind. It's a very exciting time for Path of Exile racing.
True. Definitely so. Right now, we've got Taitai Killer as well. I think he's another very strong contender, somebody who's really been showing himself to the player base for a long time now from a very good side. You know, he's been kind of keeping up with the speedrunning stuff, and he came really close last time in the last qualifier. He was, I believe, 25 seconds away. So a super close race that might have ended either way, I think, with that 1 minute penalty if a player were to die in Act 5.
Yeah, definitely that 1 minute penalty. If you are unfamiliar or didn't catch last week's race, if a player teleported back to town and have to stand still for an entire minute, which is really rough. It's not, you know, as bad as losing a character necessarily, but that feeling of being like, I want to go, you're going so fast, and then forced to stand still for a minute is just, oof, cruel. Cruel. But it is a good, I think it is a good style of race for the competition as well. People can take those risks, yeah, maybe a little bit more risky, and still people can make a comeback from that as well. Very cool stuff. Apparently I said teleported at the same time.
I think we've got the audio fixed for you guys. Sorry about that. I believe it was the Discord server. So, you know, it wouldn't be a PoE racing event if it wasn't for some, you know, technical difficulties and technical issues. But now that we can really get into it, chat, really let me know who's doing it. Who's going to win this? Who do you think is going to be number one? Me personally, I think I'm, if my favorite currently Path of Exile player is playing Jungle Ryan, also known as Jungrown, I would really love for him to take it here today. I gotta say.
I'd love to see it, Raz. I'd love to see it. Excellent.
Yep.
I think I'm very curious to see what sort of differences in strategies we see. We expect after a week like this for there to be a bit of a convergence. Certainly everyone's seen each other's strategies now, so anything they didn't think of, we're like, oh, I can give that a try as well, like picking up Lightning Warp for the Lava Fall skips. Oh yeah, I should incorporate that into my strategy too. So we'll see a convergence, but potentially there's a lot of areas here that people can, and especially with more people practicing in secret, vary their strategies, like deciding to mule Ranger versus not muling Ranger. Is it worth it? They're picking up the little faster attacksy sort of support gem there for Leap Slam and getting a little bit of an extra look at vendors and things like that, but is it ultimately worth the extra time to mule the Ranger? And will people make some different decisions on that? There's a lot of decision making to be made around bandit choices. The tree pathing, I think we're seeing I'm seeing a bit of a convergence in the trees and the shapes of the trees. But what order people take things in is a pretty big deal. You know, are they going elemental overload, or are they not going elemental overload? Do they go for the fire mastery or the dual wielding nodes first? Do they pick up like extra early life for safety, or do they leave that until right at the end? Hard to say. And things like Den for extra quicksilver as well. With leap slamming, the extra movement speed is helpful in some zones, but is it worth like doing an extra zone like Den for? So lots of interesting. It'll be interesting to see how players kind of shake out these different strategies and nuances to their strategies.
Yeah, for sure. And to your earlier point, as I watch Karn die currently to Merville, that you guys can't see, but I'm sure watching. To your earlier point as well, momentum is definitely a big switch up. And yeah, like you mentioned before, there were variations. And I think in the end, Havoc was one of the players that didn't mule, and it ended up showing. Same for Keldorn. Their leap slams were significantly slower, and it really made a big difference. But it also, I think today's PoE is very different. A lot of people are going with the caster setup for sure, because it's kind of tried, true, and tested. But a lot of players have been admitting that Duelist has the higher potential in the current racing meta. And so you've got that extra customizability, like you mentioned. Some people, Taitai Killer, for instance, he calls himself a runner. He likes to run. So he goes for that second Quicksilver in the den. And it's because of that, I think maybe we're going to be seeing some of those players switching up those strategies today. For me, a big indicator is going to be whether or not Havoc is going to be muling. And as I say that, his stream kicks in, and he's on a Ranger. So yeah,
looks like the strategies converge a little bit. Then, if we can switch on over now to the racer screen, I have a little prepared image slide for us here. Since it's a little hard for us to see the passive trees in the actual race, I wanted to bring up a little bit of a look at what sort of passive trees we might be seeing on the Templar strategies here. Who knows if we might see some other strategies, but we have an idea of what sort of things people will be picking up. So scooting through the Templar start, I typically see people pick up the life and extra resistances from the start of Templar, actually a little bit later in the run, maybe more for safety. Runebinder lets you to double up those Armageddon brands, which I didn't even notice last week, but people were also working in Armageddon brands, both for clearing and also for boosting single target. But that's something obviously you pick up after the Gravicious kill. An interesting one that I didn't notice was the converted minion attack speed for Leap Slam gets picked up typically after the dual wielding. Yeah, it's like 12%, I think, extra attack speed. So that's a lot of extra speed there, on top of already the dual wielding attack and cast speed nodes as well. Then we've got some extra Act 4 and 5 safety life, and I've seen some players get Elemental Overload and some not. Maybe some just leaving it right to the very end, like kill Kitava a little faster. But it is a little bit out there.
There's a lot of specific timings right now that current PoE has. Before, it pretty much boiled down to what level do I want to end up at when I'm killing Kitava, and what level do I want to have, preferably level 20, for killing Vol to get those vendor recipe weapons. Now, that is no longer the case, although you still want level 20 because that's the breakpoint for your gems. And yeah, when it comes to the skill tree itself, like you mentioned, there's a large amount of variety. I think the best strategy that we've seen so far is definitely going for that attack speed for the Leap Slam, the safety life, in Act 4, 5, it really depends on the player. Some people also really like the Ignite Mastery or the AoE nodes. It really depends. But most players that want to go really fast aren't going to go for those defensive nodes. That being said, however, Garast, not only did he pick up all of the defensive nodes, rushed Elemental Overload, but also used Determination, which was a very safe way of playing the game. And I think it really showed in their survivability. You can tell that they're going for a consistent run. They know they've got the speed. They need the consistency.
That is super interesting. Yeah, that tree was just an example after all. Like, things can be a little different. I know some people in chat saying that there might be some different nodes that they saw someone pick up or would consider picking up in their particular run. But yeah, we might see some differences there. But that's a bit of an example of what sort of things I'm seeing in some of the practice runs there. We do see most of the players getting ready, taking the starting line now, because the countdown, the 30-second countdown has begun. Everybody getting set up on their ranges, which, if you're unfamiliar with what's happening here, is these will likely be for mules, where players will go get the momentum support gem that ranger starts with, as well as check the vendors for some pretty crucial starting pieces, like, for example, 3 blue linked items and a red-green linked item for Leap Slam, as well as things like movement speed, boots, and stuff like that, but also just a little bit of extra currency. The players need certain amounts of currency by certain breakpoints that we'll talk about later, and any extra currency early on can be a big help. So the race has begun and the players are off the mark.
Yeah, absolutely. There's such a high dependency on racing in the current Path of Exile meta. You have to do a lot of crafting. You need a lot of transmutes. Act 1 is crucial. Getting those triple linked blue sockets is so important. Movement speed, important. So we're going to be trying to pay attention anyway to see whether or not anybody's going to be getting it from the vendors. Last race, there wasn't a whole lot of action from the vendors, but this time around, uh, maybe a little bit better. You know, last time really only Havoc got movement speed boots, and it helped him, but not quite enough. And as I say that, Karn already at the vendor, checking everything. You can see players clicking away, trying to move while vendoring. Keldorn taking his time. He sees links. No movement speed boots for any of our players here, I don't think. They're also going to be once. And as you mentioned, those additional wisdom scrolls also guarantee you, if you don't have good vendors, to be able to obtain a coral ring, which is a lot of safety.
So now we see the swap to Templar, the actual character that the racers will be running with. But yeah, I don't think we saw any movement speed boots there. And I think this, like, checking the vendors is extra challenging right now. The vendors don't refresh as much as they used to with some recent changes. But not only that, but the particular strategies the racers are playing with here, things like getting 3 blue sockets, normally you would just get that on a wand, and that's fine for a while. But long-term players actually really want that on armor because they're going to be using a sword and an axe for leap slam, because that's the fastest setup for leap slam, since it alternates those attacks using the attack speed from both weapons, and you can't leap slam with a wand. You don't want to have to weapon swap back and forth. You want to be able to cast your spells while leap slamming around through packs. So people are going to be looking for those sockets on gear and not just the wands, which is making things a bit more tricky.
I think Killer with an alchemy orb, that's going to be hopefully very helpful if he lands on some movement speed. And you can see them all going to their stash as soon as they get that hillock kill. Checking vendors again. Damn, Titan Killer really on point with these vendors today. I don't think he got movement speed boots. He is equipping boots. What's he gonna do with them? A 3-link as well, but not the correct colors. They're looking for blue, blue, blue. A blue, blue, green won't be enough, but on this base, a chromatic has a pretty high chance of landing.
Keldorn managed to get his 3 blue links on a chest armor, which is not ideal because it does slow down the movement speed, but at least it's set up and ready to go.
Yeah, that 3% movement speed might not seem like a lot, but for these guys, it will make a tremendous difference. Unfortunately, in the way that things are set up right now, as you said, it's very difficult to really get those colors on a weapon because they're going to be using a sword and an axe. So you got to get it somewhere else. The chest piece sacrifice, it might be worth it. You know, I've been talking to some players previously in the racing meta. Players would typically go for items that would give you armor. Evasion especially was very powerful. You know, if you don't get hit, you don't get stunned, you don't take any damage. You know, having a little bit of energy shield for that 50% chance to not get stunned is also very important. But when I talked to Tai, and I believe I'm Exile as well, actually, from what I remember just now, they said they don't care. They don't care about getting hit. They just won't get hit. They want to go fast. They don't want to die, but the speed is more important than anything. So really balancing this gear out here is going to be very important. And as I say that, Titan Killer with a armored chest piece. I wonder if he knows. Does he know?
It may have auto-equipped. Titan Killer having a lot of luck here, picking up, it looked like a second alchemy orb.
How did Titan not die there? Okay, you know what? Maybe maybe it was misdirection. Maybe that chest piece really is making all the difference in the world, because he's getting hit by everything. Act 1, super dangerous. Last race, I gotta say I was pretty shocked. Nobody really died in Act 1 from these top players. You know, we've been trying to keep up on the ladder, but we couldn't really see anybody die. The only death from the stream that I remember was really Keldorn, and I'm Exile came close too.
Rise, I love it. Titan Killer was wearing the chest armor just for the rowers. He's taking it off now that he's moving through the other zones. I love that. That's so good. Because those rowers are scary. Blue rowers, actually, it only takes 2 to 3 hits to go down to a blue rower charge now. So, and they're fast. They're so fast now. So I love the chest armor just for the dangerous spot and then taking it off for the rest. I love that.
Yeah, and you know, there's a large amount of RNG when it really comes to those early zones. You can see Titan Killer seeing the ledge in the title island. Typically when that's going to be happening, when you're seeing that ramp, you want to run the other way. There's one layout when you would continue to run, but not in this one, and therefore people will be going around. And you can see actually the difference between misreading that layout because Keldorn recognizes that it's a layout where you don't go around, and has a pretty quick Hell Rake with no blue mobs, no danger in sight. And just with that, Keldorn, despite the European server, catches up.
Yeah, and Tata Killer having that little mistrek there, the little misadventure, losing a little bit of time there in Tidal Islands. Not ideal. But yeah, it looks like he's got multiple alchemies in that inventory there. So Tata Killer is going to be sorted for gear, which is going to be really helpful long term. Some things that players will be looking forward to trying to collect, and it's important even this early on because you'll see players picking up a lot of unidentified items and vendoring them pretty consistently whenever they can. That's because they need 8 transmutes by a certain point in Act 3 in order to do master crafting of flat fire damage on their gear. And so there's a lot of transmutes to try and... you might get 1 or 2 dropping, but you need to do a lot of vendoring to pick all those up. So players are already looking for those, thinking ahead multiple acts right now.
100%. It's really going to make all the difference. I mean, you also can spend those transmutes on a little bit of resistances. Again, in Act 1, things are going to be sketchy. Karn dropping his Holy Flame Totem, recognizes it, instantly picks it up. And you can see everybody's running past the ramp. Nobody's really trying to go for those extra skill points. These guys need speed, but at the same time, some skill points will be important. Again, PoE racing right now is very dependent on those breakpoints, on those timings. A good example in the last qualifier would be Taitai Killer only being level 19 at Vol, and his Vol kill, if you remember, was very slow by comparison because he doesn't hit that breakpoint, he doesn't have the extra gem level. You know, Vol can be also quite uncooperative by spamming a whole lot of ads and going underground all the time, and you really want to avoid it as much as possible.
Nice annoying vacuum cleaner.
Yep, for 100%.
Karn losing a fair bit of time in the passage there, taking a few little sidetracks and getting caught on a few monsters, and ultimately getting into ledge quite a bit later after Taitai Killer and Keldorn, but Havoc was there well before anyone else. Havoc is zooming right now.
Yeah, we haven't really been mentioning Havoc enough because he's been in the lead so far the whole way through. And again, he's the sort of player that really adapts incredibly well. Having seen the results from other players using momentum in the previous race, he decides that his strategy was inferior, admits defeat, and goes for the immediate Ranger Mule. And you know what? It's effective. He doesn't have that early lead, but in the long term, as he did in the last race, but in the long term, I think he's going to do pretty well. Everybody picking up wands right now still, but soon they're going to be making that leap slam transition as soon as they got access to his after Brutus.
Yeah, they want that red and green link set up and ready to go as soon as they kill Brutus. And ideally, you want an axe and a sword combo for just after Brutus. Technically, you can get away with the dual axes for a while, but you don't want to be stuck on something like a scepter. A mace, okay. But ideally, axe and sword combo is the fastest.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at the ladder. The ladder is not an amazing indicator of where anybody is, but it does give us an idea of the more competitive players immediately from the get-go. And right now, I believe Jungrown is at #1. We are not showing him because, again, progression and levels are a different thing. Although, if you do get a lot of blue packs, if you do spend a lot of time... Oh my god, Havoc! I saw the shrine. I saw him fiddle with the inventory. Oh no! Click the button, Havoc.
No, keep going, Havoc. It's only a minute, mate. You can make a comeback from that. Oh no! Don't concede. Don't give in, mate. He's got to start that 1 minute timer in town there.
We'll watch Havoc suffer a little bit as he fiddles with his inventory. It's a good time. You can mess around with your inventory. Again, for a full minute, he cannot move. He is forced to respawn in town. We'll see if he has the ledge waypoint, but he can fiddle with his inventory a little bit. And I think, as I say that, we might be switching over maybe to Jungrown. Let's see. How is Jungrown doing?
Can we also get Soupline in there as well, who's racing on a non-Templar and currently topping out the ladder as well?
Jungrown's not even streaming.
I think we might have missed something. In the time it took you to bring Jungrown up, they might have died, Rice. Oh no. I'm sorry, buddy.
Wait, is that true?
Maybe. I mean, they were online and then they're not.
Wait, hold on. Fight Guy's not even doing it either.
Okay. I am dying, Rice.
Wait.
Alex.
Okay, here we go. Alex in the lower prison. His stream is stuck for me. I don't know about you guys.
We have the Havoc clip in the tool, so I'm going to bring that up now for us to check out exactly what happened there with Havoc. So we saw some inventory management. He was struggling. He was struggling with inventory management. Drop the item with the gem on it. No! Dies to the wheelie boys and the goats there. That is unfortunate. Now has a minute in town to manage that inventory, which was struggling to do in the middle of the monsters there. That is unfortunate.
Unfortunately, know this feeling all too well. You know, the pain of knowing that you're about to go down. Really the only option when you've got that sword picked up in your hand is to log, but not an option for these guys. But I do gotta say, I mean, Havoc really took a sweet time to press the Resurrect in Town button, but that was a big regret from Exile in the last event, because him logging out was, he said, a mistake, because it would have taken him less time to just die. But actually, now that I think about it, that's not even the case, because he's forced to respawn in town anyway, right?
Yeah, that's it. You can't do the re-enter the boss fight that you can do normally. You are forced to go back to town, I believe.
Oh god, what a tricky layout for Alex. I mean, people are already heading over to Brutus, so everybody else had a correct read here as Alex is dropping low. But that was a very tricky layout. You have to go all the way around. These players are already fighting Brutus. Keldorn battling right now. Really good positioning. It's very important that you micromanage the double bounces from your rolling magma. And Keldor will be the first person to take down Brutus, I believe. We're going to be seeing if he's going to be the first person to spawn in town soon. Or in the next zone anyway.
It's like Tatakilla's on his Brutus kill now, and going pretty comfortably there. Good positioning. This skill set works really well for Brutus, so it makes it otherwise pretty challenging fight much more comfortable.
Okay, hold on.
Oh.
A gamer is currently entering a ship graveyard. Let me detectify who that is. Okay, I think that's John Grown. But did they know? The name is John Grace. The account name is John Grace.
Oh, different account. This is what has done you in. If they're not streaming, it doesn't count.
Is he streaming on a different? Maybe. Hold on. Maybe he's streaming on a different channel. No, he's not. I need help, Chad. Find him. Detect this man. What is he doing? Does he not know that he has to stream? He was in chat earlier.
Meanwhile, Khan getting his Brutus killed down, and Keldorn has been zooming all the way into the ship graveyard now, with Taitakilla just a little bit behind in Prisoner's Gate, and Alex Pleblor just starting his Prisoner's Gate. So we kind of see things shaking out there a little bit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Ship graveyard for Taitakilla, as mentioned. Level 12 for, I'm just gonna say that it's Jungron, but I actually just can't find him. I don't know. Does he not know? I mean, I guess you can participate if you're not streaming, but you can't qualify, I don't think. So if he wins, is that just void? I think so.
I think it is a requirement that you do stream, yes. We're gonna try and it's a bit of a all over the place race at the moment. We've got a lot of different people taking top positions, so we're gonna try and sub some people in. So we might have to drop Khan out for a moment so that we can bring in someone else who is currently. We've got Well-Rounded Cat currently doing pretty well. We've got Timmy on a non-Templar. I kind of want to see that a little bit as well. So we've got Well-Rounded Cat currently taking a lead position here in Cavern of Wrath, as you can see, bringing them up, and they're just in Cavern of Wrath alongside Keldon and Taitakilla. So good to bring them in here. Get stuck on a little bit of a wall there, though, trying to take a shortcut, but not managing to have any success with that. That would have been a really nice shortcut, too.
Timmy going for the name in lights. Ship graveyard entrance, a very powerful player, but as his name indicates, with not a whole lot of practice in this event, as players are already heading over to Merville, pretty close. Flasks are going to be important, you know. In the previous qualifier, we've seen a lot of, very painful mistakes when it came to the flasks. A lot of players tend to not really worry about them too much until inevitably they become an issue in a fight such as Merville, and those small flasks will not be doing enough. We've got one flask that's, I believe, a medium or a large from Taitakilla. We've got a large from Keldorn for sure, but just one. Keldorn struggled a little bit last time with the flask, both on Merville and on Vol. And as he's battling Mervel, let's see if he's adjusted his previous plays.
Yeah, we will likely see Will Rounder Cat run out of mana here. This particular skill package, it's just small mana floss and not enough. You need at least a medium, and you can get by on that. But right now, we'll see. Will Rounder Cat might well run into some mana issues. Unless, oddly enough, you have to do a lot of dodging. If you have to do a lot of dodging, it's not so bad. You get a little bit of a chance to refill that mana. But so far, so good.
Level 13. And the first person to enter Southern Forest. What are they? Is this really Jungron? I can't believe it. It would be the ultimate Jungron thing to do, to not even stream. Does he not know? I think he's unaware.
Might not have read the terms and conditions. Yes, you do indeed have to stream.
No, it would be... Okay, so he's either baiting, and he's doing it on purpose, because he wants to qualify by not qualifying, and
he's messing with you specifically, right?
Or he thinks he's streaming, but he closed down his chat or something, and he's actually just not.
Oh no. See Tata Killer securing his Merveil kill. She is right as she flickers over the other side of the room, tries to pick up all those rares, but the inventory is full. That inventory management during the fights is super important, but kind of difficult to pull off. But if you've got a full inventory of rares, you're pretty happy. That'll get a lot of those transmute shards that they'll be needing there. So very good stuff.
Absolutely. And let's see what's going on with the... Okay, well-rounded cat already skips Den. He sees it immediately on the map. And also, a friendly reminder. Well, I guess it's not a reminder because we haven't actually talked about it. Some of you guys noticed a little bit of variety in the previous qualifier, in Act 2 especially, when it comes to the layouts, right? All these players should have the same layout, but unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a bug. And in some of the zones where Einhar is present, the layouts slightly different. They're still the
just
base
little
layout,
bit, yeah.
But so it's nothing like, oh, one player's gonna go left and the other player's gonna go right. It's nothing like that, but they are a bit different, you know. So something to keep in mind. There might be a little bit of a difference with shrines. I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to find out. I think it's exciting. It's probably better.
So far, I've seen the same shrines, because I did see everyone get the same regenerating shrine on Ledge. So I think even the shrines are fixed seated. It's just Einhar for some reason. He breaks the rules. That sounds like Einhar to me.
Einhar doesn't afraid of anything.
A little bit. Certainly not even rules such as fixed seed, for example. Does not care.
Does not care, as players are already in the Chamber of Sins. They're not going for any of the blue packs. All they care about is the level 24 Vol, so they can hit that skill breakpoint. And really, Act 2 tends to be kind of a mess, you know? There's a lot of different approaches. There's a lot of different ways that you want to be doing this act, because you're not going for the trial. You're not going for... well, actually, I wanted to say not going for additional skill points, but in the last event, we had a big differences. Exile might have been the only player who helped Alira. A lot of players were helping Kraton for the additional attack speed and additional movement speed. But also some players were heading on over to the bottom of the Western Forest for that additional skill point after, you know, either choice with Alira. And that can potentially allow you to really save yourself one level for the final Vol kill fight, or for the final Kitava fight. So I really wonder if everybody's going to be doing that, because it seemed very effective, honestly.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how the strategies play out at the Bandits coming up here. Especially just because some of those Bandit fights take a little while to do. It's nice to be able to help one of them and skip some of that.
And I gotta say...
We didn't kill all last time, which is strange.
Super confusing layouts. It's like everybody's confused. I mean, look at the Chamber of Sins level 2. Even if you're somebody who's not super familiar with layouts, this looks awkward. And in the previous race, yeah, in the previous race, I gotta say that there were a lot of Vol zones, and I cannot confirm or deny whether or not these zones were selected. I think they're all random, but there were a lot of Vol zones, and it's made the layouts very tricky. But honestly, that's kind of the thing, that if you're a really good player, despite there being a Vol zone, all these players tended to make all the same mistakes. Like in the Chamber of Saints, every time we would see players run into the same dead end, because all of them know how to run that layout, unless it's a Vol zone. Although, many of them have that figured out as well.
Yeah, it did feel like last race that it was specifically chosen that every zone would have a vault layout. So far, we haven't had quite the same bad luck here, thankfully.
Yeah. Maybe GGG figured it out, you know? We're on to them. We're on to you, GGG. We know you're making these zones on purpose, but nothing can stop these players. And, you know, maybe it's going to be potentially faster currently at 20 minutes and 30 seconds. And we're going to start seeing some of those differences, as I mentioned previously, when it comes to the direction where they're going to be heading, which skill points are they going to be taking, which bandit they're going to be helping, and whether or not they're going to be killing Weaver first, you know, getting a little bit more levels, hitting a breakpoint with your gems to make that Weaver fight a lot simpler is very, very important, as we've seen some players come really close to dying last time. Again, namely Keldorn, who struggled a lot with Flask. Currently still sitting on the one large.
You really need that large life flask for Weavers, especially. These Flicker Strike Spiders will just tear you apart. So I'm definitely very concerned for, well-rounded Alex Pueblo and Keldorn. Basically, everyone but Tata Killer I'm a bit concerned for in terms of that life recovery. So if they make any missteps...
I'm looking at the layout, and it's the same thing. There's a shrine in the bottom left, so every player thinks that it's the top left layout, and they all run into that same dead end. We're going to have to wait and see if Well-Rounded Cat and Alex are going to make the same mistake, but in some of these cases, it's pretty much unavoidable.
Yeah, there's the Weaver fight held on here, and Tata Killer moving into his in just a second as well.
Keldorn drops a greater life flask because, like, he's heard the casters. The game knows.
Perfect. There you go. Just
immediately.
Just in time for the ad phase, and just in time to fill it up as well. Even better. But he's doing a good job of just kind of like hugging that wall while the Flame Totem takes care of those nasty ads that are very scary in this fight these days. That was kind of perfect timing there, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much perfect. I mean, that's potentially a scary situation for him too, right? Like, sometimes you think it's oh yeah, let me just upgrade my life flask because I'm getting hit by a million mobs and have 0 charges. Like, you can definitely put yourself in a precarious situation there, but not Keldorn, an extremely experienced player who is currently really blasting through this Act 1 despite the longer European loading screens.
All right, we have some of the players moving into town. For some of the people who are wondering kind of what the skill package is that we're looking at now, right now we're seeing still the Magma Orb linked to typically, well, there's a few different links that can be running at this point, but we see things like Arcane Surge early on, but later on you can see Combustion and Elemental Proliferation actually playing a pretty big role in this particular setup. And then we've got the Flame Wall for the extra added fire damage, and the Flame Totems. The Flame Totems are a bit slow, but they're serve a crucial early game role for any sort of harder fights or boss fight extra damage. They just take a little bit of a while to activate there. And we've got our Leap Slams linked to that momentum support from the Ranger Mule, and then the Frost Blink cutting down the little kind of cooldown at the end of the Leap Slam. The other thing to take note of is War Banner, which when placed with full stacks gives a nice little boost of adrenaline, which is 100% increased damage. So big damage burst there for boss killing. That's why you can see some of these players kill these bosses way faster than you might do while leveling normally, thanks to that huge extra damage from that. And at this point, we should also be seeing most people running Herald of Ash and Herald of Ice, so they picked up from Chamber of Sins too.
We've got news on the top player. It was in fact Junggrown, who is currently incredibly tilted in the chat, and he has nobody but himself to blame, as he did get renamed for his atrocious name, I would like to say, and you're gonna get penalized, you're gonna get kicked out. That's what happened.
Also, the rule is you do have to stream. You do have to stream.
You played yourself, buddy.
This is a reminder for the rules there. You do indeed have to stream for it to be official.
Yeah, I mean, I think he can participate without streaming. That's fine, but he got kicked out for his name, as I believe it's either automated or yeah, guys, surprise! Path of Exile is a moderated game. That things get moderated in it.
There we go. Well, so ends that particular run. Better luck next week. I hope to see you on there, mate.
You can still do it, Jung. Log in. Come on, man. Run number 2. If Exile could do it, you can do it too. I mean, well, okay, maybe not necessarily. Level 19 hit by Well-Rounded Cat will be the first person to do so. And really early on, that early XP can be super valuable. Let's see if he's going to be helping Alira. I saw that he was killing Kraton. What's going to happen? He does help Alira, so he goes for the Exile strat, who was the only person to help Alira really from the top contenders, but he was also the person to win. So Well-Rounded Cat recognizes that, goes for it, and he's also going to be getting the passive point as Titan Killer already in Act 1, picking up his gems, getting that Lightning Warp for later on skips, getting the extra passive point. All of these things super important in Act 2.
I do think it is interesting that Titan Killer goes over and kills the little mini-boss there and picks up the Thaumatic emblem for the extra passive point in Act 1, because it's a little bit of a sidetrack. It's not too long, I suppose, but it is only just one passive, and it makes you wonder how much difference it makes. But these players have calculated out what tree they hope to reach by the time they, get to certain breakpoints, so maybe it does make all the difference. Maybe they get that extra mastery, and with those masteries are huge damage spikes. Maybe they get that just, in time for a boss, so...
Yep.
They've calculated it better than I have, that's for sure.
Yeah, I am surprised though already. Again, level 20 is just super high. The API unfortunately is updating very slowly, so we don't have a current update for you guys as to where everybody is as far as the ladder's telling us they're only level 16. But I do believe that I saw Well-Rounded Cat being level 19, about to hit level 20, and it is important to get that XP. And it is important that if the game is giving you, because it is, okay, yeah, it is level 20. If the game's giving you good XP, you take it, okay? We saw that from Garast in the last run as well. At some point, he was almost 3 levels higher than the second player and on similar progression. And, if you're getting a lot of XP and you're getting really good mobs, that just allows you to push so much further later on, right? It's not like you're really falling behind, even if you're behind on layouts, because you can just skip a whole lot more mobs later on. And those blue packs are always going to be just really good to kill whenever you do see them, no matter what. Although it is a little bit trickier now than it was back in the day, because, well, whenever blue mobs roll a type, so let's say you're in Mudflats, like in the previous qualifier, Titan Killer was, and the Roas roll fire resistant, most of those packs are going to be fire resistant, and now you're playing Magma Orb and you can't do any damage, and the Roas kill you. So, it's especially important that not only do you get blue mobs, but you also get the blue mobs with the correct type that don't kill you.
Northern Forest here, a zone for pretty good XP. Interestingly, the Fixed Siege Shrine is a massive shrine, which offers a little bit of extra safety, but also extra AoE on that Magma Orb. So players look to be taking full advantage of that in there and killing a few extra monsters. So a nice little boost to that XP there, which maybe makes something a little bit easier and faster later on. An interesting thing that can happen in there is the beasts that spawn in there. I've actually seen some discussion about whether it's worth, if you see a certain beast, picking it up, but it does rely on you having killed the yellow beasts, and if one of them's off to the side, then that whole strategy falls apart. So it's a pretty risky gamble, but we didn't see anyone playing for those beasts just there. Although we did see Well-Rounded Cat talking to Ironheart and picking him up, maybe just for a little bit of help, It's nice to have a friend along for these solo races.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta say, they are getting so much XP. I mean, Titan Killer already level 21, and this is gonna be a tricky ancient pyramid for him. Oh, actually, oh my goodness. Okay, Keldorn is a little bit of a layout legend. I gotta say, some things I've been definitely learning from him. And whenever I came across any strategy in recent times that was like, oh, you run this layout this way, Keldorn would be the one to know it. And as you can see, Titan Killer has not been following the lessons of Keldorn, because I would have done the exact same thing as Titan Killer. I would have gone to the right in the layout where the opening is to the right. You check everything from the right side, and that's what Titan Killer went for, and it cost him a ton of time. But Keldorn immediately knew. He ran to the middle and saved himself like 30 seconds. Like that was a lot of time saved. Titan Killer was firmly ahead, and now he's not even close to Keldorn, who's already opening up Vol. Wow. Yeah,
and it's been super neck and neck for these guys as well. So these little mistakes cost a lot at this point. If someone doesn't make a big mistake, then these sorts of things could be, that could be the 30 seconds that makes a difference at the end. We did see Titan Killer only lose by 25 seconds last time.
Yeah, it was super close. Absolutely. Titan Killer messing around with his inventory. He doesn't have, he does have a second weapon on that weapon swap, really taking his sweet time here as Keldorn's already fighting. Well, but by him, I mean Vol is taking sweet time. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of RNG here, guys. Surprise, it's PoE Racing. Really won over the course of the hour run that these players are going to be doing. There will be certain breakpoints with a lot of RNG, and Vol is definitely one of them. You know, he could either just shoot his laser all the time, or he could go underground over and over and over, and you're going to take significantly longer to take down the boss. Keldorn manages to kill it, and Titan Killer with that good RNG catches up.
Yeah, only seconds behind there. So very nice stuff. What I'm seeing is Keldorn and Titan Killer already have some of their important gear sorted out, actually, and they were fixing up just in that time while the vacuum cleaner comes up out of the ground, because they have their blue-blue-green links, which is crucial for cremation, and can be a little tricky to get that online in time, and they've got it online way ahead of time. Not even anywhere near Gravicious yet, so they're ready to go. Very nice to have those things sorted on.
I gotta say, Keldorn is really popping off here. He's been somebody who's had a big rivalry with Titan Killer in recent times. You know, he's been kind of keeping racing alive in a lot of ways, posting on the speedrunning websites and whatnot. And whenever anybody really had any questions in regards to racing, they would go to Keldorn. And, ooh, Alex dropping really low, sorry. Not quite dying, but that was really close in the bottom right. But going back to Keldorn, yeah, he's been really popping off, and the longer this goes on, the more he's in the lead. The closer we are to the finish line, the less he's being hurt by the longer European loading screens. And I gotta say, this one might be really close, really close.
You know, on my screen, Titan Killer has managed to take the lead now, though, moving into Crematorium. So managed to kind of just come ahead there after being 20 seconds behind or so. Love to see it.
Titan Killer has a very strong Act 3. Typically, he does okay in Act 1, pretty good in Act 2, and then in Act 3, somehow, there's something about the way that he runs this act. He just absolutely pops off. Unfortunately, a lot of times, it boils down to sacrificing a little bit of your XP, in his case. And that tends to be a problem later on in the run. But maybe not this time around, you know? Maybe this time it's not going to make that big of a difference as well. Around the cat, unfortunately, lost in the crematorium. He completely went the wrong way, and he's still going the wrong way. Doesn't have the correct read. Oh no, well around the cat. Where are we going? You gotta go far right, well around the cat. Is he getting it here?
Is this the right direction, Rise, or are we compounding some mistakes here?
I don't think so. I think he's not going the right way. I think this is a garage situation. You know, I am sometimes a racing player, you know, and some of these layouts are familiar to me, and that sure as hell did not look like it would go anywhere to the left.
Oh, that's gonna sting. It was right where he was too. I just missed it. An inadvertent full clear of Crematorium, definitely slowing you down a little bit there. Titan Killer being half a zone ahead of Keldorn at the moment as he leaps through the sewers. I haven't seen if he picked up the first bus, but so far I've seen players go for the bus, but it looks like Titan Killer might not be going for the bus this time around, as he found that exit straight away and just took it, and I don't think he went off to the side areas and picked up those extra bus for the passives, so we'll be potentially abandoning some passives. I don't know if that was just, it could be an on-the-fly decision. You know, you see the exit right there and you're like, I'll save the 20 seconds of not having to go back and get those busts.
I'm watching Titan Killer's marketplace read. I had a little bit of practice of my own, and we came across this situation where Titan Killer was the only player to misread marketplace compared to all of the other top players. And so I had a nice, impromptu, let's just see how hard is it to figure out marketplace layout, guys. It turns out it's really hard. Took me like an hour and a half to finally figure out, despite having very good instructions from Dead and Doom. And Titan Killer was there for that. And unfortunately still goes for the misread. Let's see if anybody else is going to have the same problem. Keldorn, a master of layouts, does he know that it's to the right side? He knows immediately. Oh, he already knows. Okay. Yeah.
Well-rounded cat.
Already knows.
All-Rounder Cat is picking up the bust, so I do see most players go for the bust, so it was interesting to see Tai Killer just go ahead and take the opportunity to just skip those, but Cat does indeed pick those up. So a little bit of divergence in strategies there. Keldon, I swear I only saw... Oh no, he's got all three. There we go. I was like, oh, did you only get two? Because that's such a bummer if you take the effort to pick up some of them but miss one.
It's very important that they get the skill point here again. At this point, they've got everything figured out. They're planning most likely to respec at Kitava. So they're going to need 3 additional skill points that are going to be removing from those attack speed minion nodes. And they're going to be adding that to Elemental Overload. And the Elemental Overload is always present when you're using Cremation. So very, very important that they get all these points right here, right now. Even though they do have to go a little bit out of their way. But it's well worth it as Titan Killer gets the Solaris Temple, waypoint number 2, and goes for the recipe. Very important recipe. Ziggy mentioned it earlier. Ziggy, what does it do?
Just a second, I've been corrected. Titan Killer did have the boss. He was just so fast, I didn't even see him get them. What was that? Okay,
he's not going to miss it. Come on, Ziggy.
He's too fast. Yeah. All right. Yeah, fair enough. Yes, it did pick up the flat fire damage 2 spells Mastercraft, which is super crucial. And the players want to be able to have 8 transmutes ready to go as soon as I get that, or at least shortly after. And we did see Tatakili just go and do some Mastercrafting then. So I believe he did indeed have his 8 transmutes. So we'll see whether the other players have had their transmutes lined up. So Keldorn's heading through his Solaris Temple now. When he picks up the recipe, we'll see, does he go straight to the hideout to Mastercraft that gear, because that's a huge damage spike. It's also really important to get that at least just after that now, like 1 or 2 zones later is okay, but you want to get it before Piety and you want to get it before Dominus, because it's a huge boost to those fights, and those fights actually get really dangerous if you can't kill them quickly. So you know, we've seen upsets in Scepter of God especially, and they can be quite something. It's quite a time loss to die to the boss in Scepter of God, especially because a lot of players don't tend to get that waypoint. So that 8 transmute is super important.
Yeah, and it's a very early time to get them as well, you know. A lot of times people wouldn't even have them until way deeper in the race. So definitely a very good run here for Titan Killer. He is not the first person on XP, but it's very close between him and Will Run a Cat. And you can see that these players are trying to maximize their XP from the docks, as well as trying to find the next quest item.
Titan Killer even getting a 4 link online, I just saw now. He picked up a 4 link blue chest, which allows him to get his Armageddon brand up in a 4 link, which is a nice damage boost for bosses, and it makes that clear just a little bit more comfortable as well. So a big win for them. Most of the players don't plan around getting a 4 link. It's a it's a blue green for Cremation and 3 blue link for Armageddon brand. But if you can secure an extra 4 link, that's a big deal right there.
Yeah, it definitely makes a pretty big difference. But a lot of these players, like you said, don't really even assume that they're going to be getting that. So the way that they practice is, you know, it doesn't really involve a 4 link. Titan Killer kind of known for having, well, maybe too good RNG for him.
Yes.
Sometimes he gets such good RNG that he can't really keep up with it, you know, and it doesn't really seem to happen in practice. Right now, it's happening live again, but will he be able to utilize run? This
time it's a 4 link instead of a 6 link, so maybe the 4 link is okay, and he won't have the same issues that he had last time.
I think so. But yeah, I think a lot of people, it's funny too, because a lot of players take this for granted, right? 4 link, oh, what's the big deal? Oh, 8 transmutes, I've got 1,000 transmutes. For these guys, they are saving themselves minutes in this 1 hour and hopefully under 10-minute run for the victor. And so any second counts, but in this case specifically, yeah, they can definitely save themselves minutes and maybe even prevent themselves from dying, as players are heading over to another tricky layout, the Lunaris Temple. This layout has been changed. There used to be a very good indicator in the past that was very simple, a tile at the entrance of the zone that is no longer there. GGG removed it, but some players still have the read on it. We saw in the previous race, Garast saved himself so much time compared to Exile, about a minute in Lunaris Temple 2 with the correct lead. Is that going to be happening here? Titan Killer looking a little lost, but still firmly in the lead. His leaps are just so powerful. I don't know.
Yeah, up until that one little sidestep there, he'd had a very clean run through both temples and has been just compounding his lead little bit by little bit in a very impressive fashion there. And a little bit of extra damage is going to make these boss fights a little bit faster and make it a little bit more possible to kill those champ packs with basically one shot, like he just did there. And now we're going to be seeing, I think, a very fast party kill. Honestly, Taita Killer, I think, is on pace for a sub 110 finish here, and this could be, barring any upsets or big plays from some of the other players, this could be his win that he's looking for with his piety kill. She teleports away. Does he find where he gets the good read on where she is and takes her out before she is and has a chance to do anything else? She's gone. Piety is just deleted.
That was clean. That was really impressive. Great positioning from Taita Killer in what is otherwise a very tricky part. Okay, a different approach from Well-Rounded Cat when it comes to the Leia read, but not saving himself as much time. And I gotta say, I mean, it's really, what do we do here? Taita is just so firmly in the lead. I'm trying to look at the ladder and see where everybody else is, but it doesn't seem like anybody really is anywhere even remotely close to Taita. Well-Rounded Cat in the XP lead, but this progression, we're getting close to the finish line here. I mean, will they really be able to make up for this zone difference with the amount of XP that they've got? Act 4 is very difficult when it comes to XP management, and levels are super important, as Well-Rounded Cat is already level 28. And in the previous race also, a big problem that Taita Killer ran into that I'm sure he's trying to fix here was the fact that, well, he didn't find a chance orb or a fusing, so he wasn't able to equip cremation. Therefore, he didn't even get level 28 for Dominus, which slowed down his kill and really made all the difference. If Taita Killer had that chance orb, he had level 28, had the cremation, he probably would have been able to beat out Exile with his crucial mistake. So now that doesn't look like I see a fusing in his inventory, but he's not going to need it as he's already got the cremation. He's already got the Desecrate equipped, and he's ready to go. Armageddon Brand's there too. Great socket management from Taita Killer. He's really on point today. This is a super impressive run.
I think Well-Rounded Cat has managed to take the second place off of Keldorn and just had a very fast piety kill as well. So things looking pretty good for Well-Rounded Cat. He's got his sockets ready to go. I also see a 4-link for cremation in his inventory, a 3 blue, 1 green. So we might see a little bit of extra spicy boss killing damage there. What would you prefer, the 4-link for the Armageddon brand for more clear speed, or the 4-link for the cremation for faster boss killing?
I think truly, if you're min-maxing, you're going to be switching things around however much you can. You know, there are certain times where you definitely need the Armageddon brand, which would be now as you're now fighting a boss. But it's not that important. As you mentioned previously, it is a little bit of a cleaner clear. You do get some more kills as you do get some more XP, but Armageddon brand is just so strong on its own that I think as we're getting into the more bossing stage of the game with Taita Killer engaging Dominus now and Act 4 being so boss reliant, cremation is really the way to go.
Looks like Taita Killer is having the perfect race. Everything's lining up for him. But that said, Well-Rounded Cat is only like half a zone behind. And that's like, you know, a couple zone misreads, just a few little moments here and there of shaving a couple seconds off. We'll see Well-Rounded Cat catch up in no time at all. So still looking pretty close here, but a very fast Dominus kill from Taita Killer though. I can see him smiling. Look at him, he's loving life right now. He's like, my damage.
That is actually disgusting. The resistances are so amazing. You really want to have capped lightning resistance for the Dominus fight, as it allows you to face tank the initial form, and that's exactly what happens for Taita Killer, saving himself even more time. The bleed phase now for him, but his flasks are so good. Taita Killer is just so on point. He doesn't even look at him. He runs away, and Aqueduct, the first person to enter it, will be a Taita Killer with nobody else in sight. It's really his race to lose right now.
Yeah, everything is lining up perfectly. That's what you'd be focusing on, just keeping it clean, trying not to make mistakes, and trying not to let the like overconfidence make you make some mistakes. Like for example, skipping too
Mm-hmm.
many monsters because you're feeling on top of the world. I could feel like that sort of thing can certainly happen there. But you see him stopping and killing those big juicy champ packs there, so he's trying to maintain that XP and maintain that lead there. But yes, if you didn't see it, Tata Killer picked up a Lahoop of All, which has up to 30% increased damage, up to 30% increase elemental resistances, rarity, and even attributes, which are quite helpful as well for requirements. We do see sometimes the Templars with this particular tree sometimes don't have enough intelligence to equip, like they get a chest drop and it has Fall Link, but they can't equip it because they don't have enough intelligence. So that sort of stuff can be very helpful. So very nice drop there to cap off of Tata Killer's, pretty nice RNG in this run. 2 early alchemy orbs, got his 3 links sorted very early, got his 4 links sorted, and picked up a Lahoop to cap it off. Pretty nice stuff right there.
And he's not letting it go to waste. Again, he's playing to his strengths. The Act 3, super good, super strong. Tai Killer is doing everything that he can here to qualify. But that being said, well-rounded cat, not too far away. Having already fought this, I'm not quite sure what is going on.
Yeah,
with
no,
well-rounded
that's the
cat.
kill. It's done. It's done. He's coming back to town to do a little bit of inventory.
Oh, he's being desecrated. Oh my goodness, he didn't vendor yet.
Look at that full inventory. That is unfortunate. But he does have that Fall Link sorted out, which is quite nice. A little bit of a slow town there, I think. Not quite maybe as practiced in these later towns. So you can see players get very good at the Act 1 and 2 towns, but get a little slower when it comes to these like other later ones where they're looking for certain things. Trying to remember what you have to get and take a little bit of a moment there.
That's the thing about Tai Killer, that when I said he's playing to his strengths, another strength of his really is the speedrunner mentality. You know, a lot of these guys are racing, they're competing against other players, but Tai Killer, he feels the best at the top of the ladder. He doesn't get intimidated by it, he loves it. And it's again really showing here. Another player that really gets a lot of power out of that would be somebody like Havoc, another Tai Killer rival. But with that early blunder, he's unfortunately nowhere to be seen on this ladder currently. And will Tai Killer be able to pull it off here? The massive packs of mobs, the amount of portal scrolls that he's got in his inventory. He knows that all he has to do is go fast. And even the vendors lining up, you can really see how big of a difference it makes when your vendors, when you just don't get the correct things at the correct items at the expected times. Another shrine for Tai Killer. I mean, everybody's going to get the shrines, but it's just, it just allows you to go so much faster. But you could see the difference with Well-Rounded Cat, where he didn't quite do his vendors early enough because he just didn't have the resources necessary. Not a problem for Tai Killer. Somebody who couldn't get a chance orb, but he gets another shrine here, and he definitely had the chance orb here, and he can just pop off.
Look at him, he's loving life.
Yeah, he's really he doesn't get intimidated by these situations. He's got a big problem catching up typically in these events, but when he's at the top, he doesn't let go.
That's why Tata Kill is one of my favorite races. He's very emotive. You get to see the devastation when something goes wrong, and the cheer and the excitement when something goes right. And he's looking pretty happy right now, isn't he?
Well, no kidding. I mean, he's looking good. I was joking around. I had a little bit of a stream discussing some things with the racers, and Exile was there. There was a sign of relief from him, I think, because nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to give me any secret information. This don't talk to the casters meta, pretty cringe, guys. But one player that you could see a lot of relief from was Exile, and he was able to disclose a lot of information. And through that information, I've deducted that everybody can do a lot better. Exile thought that people can do better, but how much better can they do? Damn much better than 110. Maybe a 1.8?
I heard a 106
it was 110.
Was someone's best time, but yeah, getting below that 108, 107 mark is pretty impressive. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Tai Killer is on pace for a 106 or a 105 here. He is absolutely flying. He's got a diamond shrine now, right? I mean, everyone's going to get it, but this bodes well for the time, right?
Well, but that's the thing, right? At this point, honestly, he can die for a minute, and I I don't know if other players are going to be able to utilize all the tools that they're going to be getting.
It'd be close. That would certainly add to the tension, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's really his race to lose, but you got to compare the last run, right? It was a 110 in the last qualifier, and we're saying how this is going to be faster, but so many things are lining up in this run. All the shrines, there's like no corrupted zone. I think we've seen one this whole run, and that's going to make a big difference, because even if you have the correct read on a layout with a corrupted zone, that doesn't necessarily mean that you know, you're going to save yourself time, because they generally just extend layouts really thoroughly. There's no first skip in this layout, so not being able to save himself about 30 seconds in the Comb's Dream for Tai Killer.
Yeah.
Again, everybody gets the same layout unless they get Einhard, in which case it's a little bit tricky. But there's about a 10% chance that you get a big skip here, and he's not going to be going for it. Will he be going for the second one? Another shrine. Okay, this is some joke. Okay, I don't even know.
The shrines have been nuts. Last week we had all corrupted side areas. This time we have all shrines. So nice fixed seed layouts. I love them. It's super entertaining fixed seeds. We're playing Domination League here with these shrines. I love it. Yeah, no, lava fall skips. There's another diamond shrine. What is going on?
Okay, we're getting trolled.
What are these shrines? My
I'm
lord.
scared to ask GGG if these are random at this point. I don't even know. Any Bex, any comments? We need a comment here. Official statement, please. Something. Check him PC. This is not right.
Oh, I like to see it. It's making for a very, very fast and furious race. Now, I don't think we even saw Tai Killer go back to his hideout to craft resistances. Normally, just before Duresso and Calm's area, that's when players will take their extra transmutes that they hopefully have sorted out. And one transmute per craft, you can add fire and cold resistance to your gear. And we usually see players add 2, 3, 4 fire cold resistance crafts to all of their gear slots that they can at this point. But Tai Killer got that Lahoop. He's got very nice gear sorted out. He got those early hours, so has a few pretty nice rares on there. And, you know, constant defensive shrines means, do you even need to worry about the extra resist? So there's another 30 seconds saved there and not having to... we'd see a little bit of mastercrafting there, but just one item, that's it. This is like just the other ring. I'll just make the other ring really good.
He doesn't need more. He has a 25 all res Lahoop. Yeah, he's absolutely capped with this setup. He doesn't have to worry about gear at all. All that Tai Killer is doing right now is really searching for those Dead and Doom acceleration shrines. That's all he needs, you know? There's been a lot of diamond shrines, but where are the accelerations? Come on, guys. Not enough acceleration shrines.
Reference. Love it.
A difficult layout, though. Belly of the Beast, but Tai Killer with the perfect read. Oh my god. So this was his... low.
Big old shrine there.
Another shrine.
Tai Killer honestly looking, is this even over leveled at this point? If he just hit 33.
Way over leveled.
Yeah, he's over leveled.
These shrines are ridiculous. The amount of XP that he's getting here is just crazy. I don't know. At this point, it's kind of hurting him. He's just killing so much stuff. He's getting so much XP. He's doing it because it's being given to him. But we're getting close to the finish line here. Micromanaging this experience here, and really trying to avoid spending as much time as possible killing mobs, as you've already got enough of a breakpoint. You can see him skipping blue packs. Yeah, it's gonna make a big difference. You know, this might be an opportunity for other players to catch up with, for sure.
He's halfway to level 34, and I'm pretty sure he killed Kitava last week at level 34. So that is a huge amount of extra experience here that's happened at this point. To be, not even in the final act yet and already be basically at that same level, he's going to make things a little bit safer there. Yeah, insulating against that potential accidental upset death there. Although we did see Tai Killer drop below half on a shrine full of monsters, and some of these monsters in here are pretty nasty. It does get through the pie to kill quite comfortably there, and well-rounded Count taking his diamond shrine into the boss fight for a very nice kill, using his wave of convictions for huge damage there, and very quick. They did try to separate and spread out to slow him down a little bit, but it wasn't enough.
100%. And I mean, what can happen at this point? I'm thinking, like, at this point it's got to be just Tai Killer against himself. I'm looking at the ladder desperately to see Not that I'm not rooting for Taitai, I am, absolutely. If anything, I'm rooting for Taitai to beat Exile's qualifier run from last week. And I can see that Jimmy G Buckets, also known as Havoc, is catching up. Honestly, he's fourth right now.
Yeah.
In terms of XP, so looking pretty good. We're still gonna have to wait and see. Will Taitai Killer, who has been known a little bit in the past to choke, you know, a little bit, will he be able to do it here? I mean, at this point, I don't know how much choking this guy would have to do for him to actually fall behind.
Havoc's managed to catch himself back up, and that's super impressive after that early death and almost quit, because he looked like he was about to quit, didn't he? But he's got back up in there, so do we think we want to sub him back in? Maybe swap him out for Albus Lord here, as I think he's earned his way back up into the top 4.
That is something that production can, in fact, do for us here right now. Boom.
There we go.
Where is Havoc? And I mean, if there is an experienced player when it comes to racing, it would be Havoc. Probably the most experienced player that we currently have in the scene. So he knows exactly how much XP he needs, what he needs to do, and how many mobs he needs to skip. He doesn't know how many shrines there are coming up or how many blue packs he's going to get. Nobody knows that. The blue packs are not set in stone. It's just the shrines. But I'm sure that he's going to be managing that perfectly.
Oh, huge, massively fast boss kill there. Havoc just like instantly deleting those 3 bosses. They were all perfectly together, and he basically one-shot the 3 of them in one go. Love to see it. So he's got his damage online at the very least, and doing everything he can to catch up. Keldon going pretty low in Belly of the Beast there, and almost, it might have even been that same area where Taitai Kill almost went down. So gotta be a little careful in that Belly of the Beast 1 zone. Definitely something to look out for.
Oh! Havoc! Doing an oopsie. He died again.
No. Oh no, Havoc.
Oh, but he does have a portal, right?
The brief catch back up into the top 4, earned his way back up into the top 4 slot. Only the caster cursed. We put him on the stream and he died again. He says, "I'm too old" in the chat. Havoc, long time community builder of Path of Exile Racing, running countless events for the Path of Exile community, participating in Path of Exile Racing since Path of Exile only had a couple of acts to race in. But maybe that age is starting to show a little bit, eh? Oh no, over the hill. Poor Havoc. I love to see his effort. Always an absolute treat and a joy. But both times we bring him on stream today and he drops down. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, these things are, I was going to mention that these things are being made as if they're easy. Taitai Killer looking so good. We're talking a lot about his speed. But, you know, they're still really squishy despite having the capped resistances. Taitai Killer only at 800 HP. Not exactly something that you want to have at this stage of the game as he hits another shrine. But yeah, those shrines, they're dangerous. He's got capped HP, but if he just gets hit a little bit too much, that 1 minute penalty, as Havoc has proven to us, oh my god, Taitai just keeps dropping, can be very deadly. Last week, a very sketchy layout in the slave pens. 3 out of the top 4 players got baited by it. Exile didn't. Taitai Killer, he was very regretful about misreading that layout. Will he make the same mistake? Looking good. Oh no, hold on. Oh, okay, no, he's safe. He's secure. Keldorn dropping low. No, he has to go all the way around anyway. Ooh. Okay, no, okay. We got it. Taitai Killer's done it. A correct lead this time around. Looking a little bit sketchy. Well, around the cat, fighting Malachi. Not too far away. Looking a little bit closer.
For Keldon in Harvest there as well against one of the mini bosses. It's easy to underestimate them because they go down pretty fast, but they can be pretty lethal. So Keldon having a very close call there. Well-rounded Cat also having a close call in one of his earlier fights too, but both of them just managed to scrape through. And Well-rounded Cat moving into the second phase of his Kitava kill. Sorry, not Kitava kill, not yet. Malachi kill.
Hold on. What am I seeing here? There is a unfamiliar name.
What are you seeing?
That is currently at the top of the ladder. Am I seeing that correctly, or wait a minute? Somebody just now was above.
If we can see if they have a stream, we'll take a look at who they are and what they're doing. We might have someone else creeping up into the top 4. An unexpected, an unexpected.
I think
little capper, maybe.
we're about to have another player be removed for a name change. I think if we. So I'm just gonna go by their account name. Throw Me Away is the player who is currently doing pretty good. No snitching, guys. Come on. His name's totally fine. And Taitai Killer getting close to the finish line here. How much is he going to be XPing? Honestly, I'm very impressed with how these players have managed to XP. It doesn't seem like anybody's really overkilling at all.
Yeah, at this point, Taitai Killer basically just wants to kill nothing unless they're like literally in his way. So at this point, leaping over everything. Still picking up that waypoint for safety. He learned from perhaps others' mistakes there. Good to see. Now's a good chance for us to check out that Havoc rip clip for those who missed it. So I'm bringing that up on the stream just now. This is not the right Havoc rip. Sorry, Havoc. Oh no, I'm reliving earlier pain. Havoc
the other
rip
production, finally. Yes.
Damn it, production. Here we go. The Duresso fight for Havoc. And gets caught once again by the swords. The swords often causing issues. And they just like to spawn right underneath you, don't they? Gets caught on the swords and then finished off by Duresso's Reeve. Taking him all the way down.
If only he had a 25% resistance Lahoop, you know, he wouldn't have actually died there.
That would certainly help. But at that point, the players usually have pretty close to cap with those mastercrafts, but it might not have been enough.
It's always funny to me, you know, whenever players talk about racing, the more casual players, you know, the friendly Redditors, and they just go, oh yeah, the player who's going to win is the one who finds a Headhunter or a Mage Blood. That's going to be the winner. And typically, it's easy to make fun of them because, well, racing generally doesn't boil down to RNG. Typically, the best player wins, and I'm not saying that's not going to be the case here, but this is a good example of when RNG really, really helps you, as Taitai Killer currently finding Innocence with a 1 hour, 2-minute time. And as he's closing in on Kitava, I do believe if nothing happens, if there's no upset, I am not currently caster cursing him.
You are trying the hardest in this race to manifest the caster curse. You're like, it's his race to throw away. If nothing happens...
I'm not doing that. Nope. Misread, Ziggy. I would absolutely never do that. But yeah, with 1 hour and 2 minutes, this, if nothing happens, looks like it will probably beat out Exile's run from last week. That
would be very impressive. I think he's going to be beating some top times in practice runs, to be honest, at this point. So this little fight here takes a while. And that's going to bring him around 104. So I think the 105 is going to be a little bit of a reach, maybe. But the 106, 107, 108, maybe. I think that's a distinct possibility. You know, barring any Kitava upsets, unless anything goes wrong, Rise.
Ooh, Alex. I mean, he heard the news and went down. Only number one matters. That was an exchange that we saw on Twitter between Taitai Killer and Bex, who congratulated him on a great run. And Taitai Killer coldly responded with only number one matters. Everybody else is a loser. And he doesn't want to be a loser this week. Everybody's starting to take more risks. They know number 2 doesn't count. And Taitai Killer going for the number 1.
I think he's taken the Tabulast to heart, Rise. And he's made that a part of his being, I feel. And he's like, anything but first is Tabulast.
Yep. That's deep. That's beautiful, Ziggy.
And I mean, we're seeing it. We're seeing it pay off here. Taitai's hungry. He wants it. He hungers for that win. And he's got the confidence as well. And I think he's executing here on the day, potentially securing that slot, unless anything happens, Rise.
I'm not saying that. Why did you say that? Come on. I mean, the thing is, I think Taitai Killer needs this boost in confidence. He needs this to really perform well. I think he's been beating himself up about the last qualifier. I think he's even been beating himself up about the ExileCon, you know, from last year. The Legend of the Tabulast. He's not gonna allow that to come true this time around. And
we have Alex Alex went down there during one of the mini-boss fights, I believe, and we have a clip just here. It was, this one is the worst of the three, isn't she? With that 3-shot. But that wasn't even, that was just on top of the cursed area there and took a huge amount of damage. Absolutely brutal there. It was like not quite fully healed up from the earlier hit, and then just one big hit smack you down. If you get hit by that big old mortar, especially in the vulnerability curse, you're in big trouble. Killer has got a big smile on his face now as he moves through Cathedral Rooftop, killing off a pack that looked a little bit threatening, but he's picked up a defensive shrine, so I think that's what he's laughing about. He's picked up a defensive shrine on the way to Kitava here. Why not? Let's make this fight a little bit
full screen mode.
You know what's funny? The temp chains curses in this zone extend the duration of the defensive shrine, Rise QT. So he gets that shrine for even longer. As he runs through the dangerous mobs here and gets a nice, easy, comfortable, cozy run to Kitava. Look at this, he's de-speccing. He's de-speccing the leap slam speed since he doesn't need it for the boss fight and speccing into the extra damage there and the AoE. Actually, a little bit of a different treat. Oh, Rise, what have you done?
I haven't done that. He had so much energy shield. I was about to say that probably he doesn't even get one shot. Did he have a portal? He does have a portal. Okay, hold on.
Oh my God,
wait a minute.
Rise.
He's panicking. See, okay, he was having fun. I was gonna say.
Oh no.
You have fun. You don't wanna, you know, stress yourself off too much and maybe do a rip. And it's good to see that Titan Killer's having fun. Well, how much fun is he having now? As he sits in town, has to wait a full minute, and the pressure's getting to him probably. Well-rounded cat. He's getting close. He's not.
He's getting a chance to catch up. Oh, it's going to be real close. He's got 20 seconds before he can get back into the zone. He looked a little bit panicked there for a second as he was thinking, did I have a way back in?
Yeah.
And did he have it, Rise? Did you see?
He does have a portal. I think he definitely put down a portal. 3 more seconds, 2 seconds.
Hopefully it's the right one. Here we go. Let's find out.
Okay, yeah. He's going back to the rooftop, but is his confidence still there? Will he falter?
Oh yeah, I saw that smile instantly evaporate. Oh no, that's definitely shake you a little bit unexpected there. Leaped slammed right into the punch, it looked like. We do have a clip to have a look at later, but we'll be checking that one out later here as we see how this Kitava fight goes. Oh, go on, Rise, you can bring it up back in full screen, mate. I mean, production.
It's been production.
Don't do it again, Rise. Come on.
He doesn't have the shrine anymore, so he's missing a bunch of that energy shield.
It does not have the shrine anymore. Still, 820 HP, 135 energy shield. Should be one of the safest Kitava kills you would expect in this race. Super over level, really. Tons of damage. Just got his full link. Everything lined up. But Kitava, I mean, ultimately, you can do that. You can leap into one of those punches. These guys can flicker you, but the damage gets rid of that heart real quick.
He's reading chat. He needs to know, is he there?
Did he lose it on that kill? Yeah, you'd be worried. If you didn't know, you'd be worried about losing it just there, wouldn't you? Rise.
I think so. What? Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, Well-Rounded Cat looks out.
Oh no! Anything but first is last, Well-Rounded Cat says.
Everybody locked out.
Oh god. Huge congratulations to Titan Killer for securing the win there as, boom, there we go. He takes first place as Kitava explodes him. I love that the winning here in this race format involves the player getting omega brapped by Kitava. Kitava gets the last laugh, but Titan Killer gets the last laugh because he is getting flights and accommodations, an ultra VIP ticket to New Zealand, ExileCon, and participation in the grand final race. And I can't think of anyone more deserving. I love it. He's worked hard for it. And back to RuneScape he goes.
He's gonna look at the celebration. I don't think he knew immediately. I think he was still freaking out. Chad wouldn't let him know. But the second he finds out, he turns on RuneScape.
Gotta get back to the grind, mate. Gotta get back to the grind. Let's check out that rip from earlier. If you missed it in that Kitava kill here. Look at this. He gets out of the way of the sweep. He's reallocating his passives. I love that. And then just right in the top of the noggin.
And the smile just immediately gone. You could see the pure panic.
The evaporate. I want to restart. I want to watch again. Hold on, one more. Let me put it up again. I gotta see that. Just the face drop as he's like, did I? Oh no. Oh no. Brutal. but nonetheless manages to experience that heartache and still manages to secure the win. You love to see it, right? You love to see it. What a fantastic effort there from TieTieKiller. We got Keldon moving through his Kitava kill here, so we'll bring him up on screen. A great race from Keldon as well. Was holding the lead for quite a while there until TieTieKiller overtook him somewhere around Act 2 there. But managed to hang in there and have a very good performance as well. So definitely one to keep an eye on for the future coming races as well. Well-rounded cat, someone I haven't seen. Putting on a very good showing here. So also one to keep an eye on for these upcoming 2 races next week and the week after at this exact same time. So make sure you don't miss those for sure. But Keldon looking like he's got his... Oh, taking a lot of degen damage there from the ground in the Kitava fight. Definitely going to watch out for that one. What do you think of the race, Rise?
Pretty good. Currently trying to see if we can maybe potentially get an interview with TieTieKiller. It's going to be tricky on the production side, guys. Just keep that in mind. But if we could get some thoughts from TieTieKiller, what he thinks about, this really incredible run. I don't think we have the official standing quite yet. So we don't quite know what the final time was. Maybe Chad can let us know what was it on his tool. But
yeah,
it definitely seemed to have. I think it definitely beat out Exile's run from last week. 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 26 seconds.
Oh, 108. 108.26. Yeah, waiting for the official tool to update so we can get the specific one. But it sounds like it's about that 108.26. Very, very cool. We won't be able to do the interview though, Rise, as we're not quite set up for that. A little bit ahead of yourself there, mate. But I believe we'll be rating him at the end if he's still online as the winner of the race. So we'll be able to hear some post-race thoughts on his actual stream there. But a very exciting race there. Keldon secures his Kitava kill. Fantastic stuff. I love to see it. Very cool to see how things improved, shaving a couple minutes off there, and just a super fast-paced run as well. I felt like everything lined up well for TieTieKiller, but most importantly, he took advantage of the gap. Oh, sorry, of all of the... I'm reading Keldon's chat. Of all of the things that went right for him, and managed to, apart from one little upset there at the Kitava, he secured enough of a lead to be able to suffer a death. And still get that win there. Yeah, TieTieKiller in maps, as the meme says. But fantastic stuff there. Rise, what do you think, mate?
Yep, pretty good stuff from TieTieKiller. I'm very impressed. Although, I still wonder, I mean, if you think about it, the 1 hour and 10 minutes from last week from the qualifier as most likely production, we can switch on over to the caster cams over here. I gotta say it, 1 hour and 10 minutes last week, considering that Exile lost a minute at least.
Well, that was the minute death. The TieTieKiller kind of equalizes that a little bit, but he lost a little bit more because of having to rerun the zone as well, didn't he? So
true.
It's interesting. I did expect a bigger gap there, but nonetheless, we get the official time now is 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 19 seconds. So a very good effort there. But yeah, not as big a gap. I was predicting the 106, maybe even a 105, but not quite managing to get that. Just goes to show just exactly how well someone would have to run to be able to secure such a time like a 105. That would be, there was a lot of shrines, there was a lot of good items and stuff there. You'd have to be doing pretty well to be able to secure a time like that.
If there was a run that could have done it, I think this was probably the run, as it was pretty crazy with the shrines, but there was a lot more volatility in this race. We saw a lot of players die. There were a lot of mistakes being made. I think as we're going to be getting closer to the final ExileCon race, I think players are going to be taking more and more risks and really trying to do as much as they possibly can. I think a lot of people were rooting for TieTieKiller to win this one. He got really close last time, but didn't quite pull through. In this run, he looked great. He looked confident, and at this point, he doesn't have to worry about beating Exile in the qualifiers. Now all he probably thinks about is trying to beat him at ExileCon.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about that now for the people that have secured their victory, about trying to get those times better and better and better and learn from what the others are doing. They'll be watching the races, maybe even participating in the upcoming ones just for the practice potentially. So we might see Titacula, we might see Exile again in the future. Interestingly, we didn't see Garast this time around after a really good performance up until the run-ending mistake last week. But
I think we
didn't see them this week. I don't think we saw them on the ladder there. So unless as a different name, under a different name or something like that. But we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. Yeah, okay.
We don't know how it went for them, but I think they were there. And I think next week we got to look out for another anime name at the top of the ladder, and maybe it's going to be enough, but not quite this time around. We don't know how their run went. We unfortunately can only really pay attention to the 4 runs that we're watching, as there's just so much going on when it comes to these. But yeah, the pressure is building up.
A bit of mystery, isn't there? There's been a few players that acting under pseudonyms who we don't know exactly who they are. So it's hard to say who anyone is when they're racing under some of these mystery names. So we'll see what other mysteries reveal themselves next week, and how things improve next week, and who secures the next slot. But huge congratulations once again to Titacula and the winner of last week, I'm Exile. For those two, will be facing off at ExileCon in the last weekend of July. Very excited to cast them at the event live. It's going to be super exciting. But we'll find out who the other 2 people will be in the coming 2 weeks. But thanks so much for casting with me, Rise. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. It's been a joy. That's it for us for now.
For me as well.
Nice. We'll see you fine folks next time. Bye-bye.